Hello, everyone. The session is going to begin shortly. So make yourself feel comfortable. Probably grab a notepad and a cup of coffee because today's session is going to be an interesting one. Meanwhile, I have a quick little favor to ask from you. This is more like a sound check. So if you are able to listen to my voice clearly and view the presentation, just send in a confirmation via chat. Okay, so I have received a few confirmations. Thank you. We are all set to begin with the webinar. Thank you all for having taken your time to join this free webinar. We will see on how we can integrate ManageEngine's Desktop Central with the ServiceNow help desk. How will this integration help your help desk and technicians to deliver better IT services? They usually say it works better when doubled. So let's see when ServiceNow works hand in hand with Desktop Central, let's see how efficiently we can deliver better IT services. As a help desk technician in today's world, I generally have this feeling. I tend to feel that there is very little time, resources, and support to troubleshoot incidents that keep growing day by day. So today's help desk technicians are urged to work more but with less, be it time as well as resources. So how can we as technicians feel empowered enough to troubleshoot incidents at light speed as well as satisfy employees with immediate ticket troubleshooting? So from this webinar, we intend to teach you something which is very simple and fundamental. We want to empower your IT help desk as well as you, the technicians, so that you no longer need to struggle toggling between multiple windows to perform your endpoint management activities. Instead, we want to give you a single integrated console from where you can perform all the endpoint management activities automatically without having to navigate between different windows. So let us see how this actionable integration will help your IT help desk as well as you technicians. I'm Vaishnavi, product specialist at Desktop Central, and I will be your presenter for today. So this is the agenda for today's session. First, we will see the different problems that we as technicians and the IT help desk faces. We will see how the Desktop Central product can help you tackle all of your problems. We will discuss the steps that will help us to set up this integration and also the architecture of how it will be designed when your ServiceNow is integrated with Desktop Central. We will also see the list of features that can be taken advantage of when Desktop Central is integrated with ServiceNow. Let us also discuss a few use cases so that it will help you to understand in a better way of how this integration can add value to your company. And last but not the least, for the benefit of everybody, let us discuss questions that are raised during this webinar and some common questions that people have about this particular integration. So here we have a life cycle chart in front of us. As you can see, it is the life cycle of an incident. From the day the incident was raised by the user as a request till the day it was closed by the technician. So let us discuss this use case where I will tell you how difficult and complex it is for a technician to troubleshoot an incident. Let us say the user has asked for a software installation. So the user raises a request. The technician who's assigned to the incident will now open the incident and he will read the requirements. So he finds out that the user has asked for a software installation. Now, since the technician does not have the ability and the resources to automate software installation from his help desk, he is forced to transfer it to the system administrator. So the system administrator will now perform his task and install the software to the user who had requested for it. So once the system administrator successfully installs the software, he will update the technician about the incident. Now the technician will see that the requirement has been satisfied and will close the incident. So did you see all through the life cycle of the incident, all while he was troubleshooting the incident, he had to perform a lot of manual activities. So there was dependency on the system administrator. There was lack of automation for endpoint management activities. So this is how complex it is for a technician to troubleshoot incidents when he does not have the time, the resources, and when there is lack of automation. But what happens when your ServiceNow Help Desk console is integrated with Desktop Central? So let us take the same use case, but here ServiceNow is integrated with Desktop Central. Now, since it is integrated, the technician will now be able to make use of all the features that Desktop Central offers, all the automated features that it offers. Let me show you how. So we are considering the same example where the user had requested for a software to be installed. So the user raises a request. This will now fall as an incident on my ServiceNow console. The technician who is assigned to the incident will open and read the requirements, and he will get to know that the user has asked for a software's installation. Now, instead of navigating to a different product or a different window or assigning to a system administrator, since he has his help desk integrated with Desktop Central, he can perform the software deployment feature right from the Service Desk console. So, since he knows that the user has requested for a software installation, right from the incident window, the technician can install the software to the user's computer. And once the software installation is successful, the incident will automatically be closed without any manual intervention. So, did you just see the difference between this workflow and this workflow? How easy and automated it becomes for a technician to troubleshoot an incident because he can perform a lot of endpoint management activities right from his incident window. There is no necessity for him to navigate between different windows. There is no multiple toggling between different products, but just a single integrated console from where he can automate all of these features. So this is what happens when you integrate your ServiceNow console with your Desktop Central. You not only take less time to resolve tickets, but at the end of the day, you are satisfying your employees with immediate ticket troubleshooting. Now, these are the common help desk challenges that, as an IT help desk technician, we face every day. I don't think I will have to explain these challenges because we encounter them day to day. And I have just listed down five of them, but there are endless challenges. And there needs to be one particular solution that will help us tackle all of these challenges. The first and foremost being the growing volume of incidents that we'll have to encounter day in and day out. And since we don't have access to automate these resolution activities, it takes a lot of time for technicians to troubleshoot incidents. So, what can be that one solution that will help us tackle all of these challenges? For that, we offer you with the solution to integrate your ServiceNow console with Desktop Central. So, why not manage your tickets using ServiceNow and automate resolution activities using Desktop Central? Because when you integrate your IT services with IT operations, you not only simplify your ITSM processes, but you are improving the efficiency of the overall IT management. Wouldn't you feel empowered? Let me give you an example. You have a problem that you have to solve in your help desk console. And in the form of Desktop Central's functionalities, you have a solution right there with you. So you have a problem, and Desktop Central gives you the solution in a few seconds. As a technician, you will be able to resolve incidents at light speed as well as reduce your resolution time. So these are the advantages that you will receive out of integrating your ServiceNow console with ManageEngine's Desktop Central. Now that we have told you that you can integrate your ServiceNow console with Desktop Central to resolve incidents at a quicker rate, let me give you a quick heads up about Desktop Central. Desktop Central for over a decade has been continuously improving to help enterprises face the challenges regarding endpoint management. It is nothing but a web based server, desktop management, and a mobile device management software that will help administrators to manage endpoint devices from a central location. So, be it your mobile device or your laptop or your computer or even roaming devices, you can manage thousands of such endpoints from a central location using Desktop Central. And from the wide range of automated features that Desktop Central offers, from software deployment to managing your asset devices to managing your mobile devices, a reporting tool, system tools, and the remote control feature, and most importantly, the patch management feature, an enterprise of any size can make use of all of these automated features and can efficiently manage endpoint devices. So, this is what Desktop Central offers to you, adding value to your help desk. These are the various operating systems that Desktop Central supports, from Windows OS to your Mac OS and your Linux OS. And remember, when you have to install the Desktop Central server, it can be installed only on a computer that runs the Windows OS. So we have seen why Desktop Central's integration with ServiceNow will empower your help desk as well as you technicians. So let us now see the steps that are involved in setting up the integration. So these are two simple steps that makes it easy for an administrator to integrate your ServiceNow with Desktop Central. The first step is where you will have to download and install Desktop Central, and the second step is configuring Desktop Central in ServiceNow. About the first step, since Desktop Central is an on premise application, it is mandatory that you download and install Desktop Central in your network. And once you have successfully installed Desktop Central, you can move on to the second step of configuring the Desktop Central plugin app in your ServiceNow console. So let me take you to the ServiceNow store where we can download the plugin app. As you all know, the ServiceNow store is an enterprise application marketplace, so you can find a wide variety of apps and integrations, both paid and free. So the ManageEngine Desktop Central plugin app is a free integration. So here we have a quick read about Desktop Central. Now let me click on Get. So once you click on Get, it will ask you to specify your HI credentials. Once you specify the right HI credentials, you can now log into the ServiceNow platform and install the plugin app. You can install the Desktop Central plugin app. And once you do that, you can move to the ServiceNow instance window. Now, if you want to verify if your Desktop Central plugin app has been successfully installed, in the left-hand side, you have a filter navigator where you can search for Desktop Central. So here, all of the features provided by Desktop Central is available. Now we have only installed the Desktop Central plugin app. In order to configure the Desktop Central plugin app into your ServiceNow console so that you can use any of Desktop Central's features right from your incident window, you will have to configure it successfully. So there are three steps that are required to set up this configuration. Step one is the one that we've already completed. So we have downloaded and installed Desktop Central. So if you have not already installed Desktop Central, we provide you with a download trial edition so you can make use of the free edition. So I have installed Desktop Central in my network. So I am moving on to the second step. Here you will have to specify the URL of where your servers are running. Here it is asking for your Desktop Central server details. It is required that you specify the URL of where you have your Desktop Central server running. In my case, I have my console running in this URL. So let me copy the server's URL. Now this will have to be pasted here. And next is where you will have to specify the URL of where your MIT server is running. Now remember, when you're not able to host your Desktop Central in Edge, that is, you have your Desktop Central server installed in a private network, it is always important that you specify your MIT server's URL here, because your MIT server will ensure communication between your Desktop Central server and ServiceNow. So I have my Desktop Central server installed in my local network. So I will specify my MIT server URL here. Let me click on the find icon to find out my MIT server. So I've selected my MIT server. Let me click on next. So make sure you configure the details about your server here, your Desktop Central server and your MIT server. Now once this connection is established, the next step is where you will have to enter the credentials of your Desktop Central administrator. So for authentication purposes, you are required to enter Desktop Central administrator's credentials. So once you do this, your integration is completed. So let us wait for this step to be validated. So there are three steps that you will have to follow to configure the Desktop Central plugin app. Yes, we have successfully integrated ServiceNow with Desktop Central. So we have a quick read. You can have a quick read about how this integration works and a write-up about Desktop Central. So I have successfully configured my Desktop Central plugin app in my ServiceNow console, and I am ready to use all of these features. So this is the Desktop Central plugin setup page. Here you can view the reachability details of your Desktop Central server, your MIT server, and the validity of your Desktop Central administrator credentials. In the future, if you would like to modify any of the server details, you can click on the modify option that is given here. And let's say you have a lot of users in Desktop Central whom you want to map with the technicians in your service now. For that, you can make use of the user mapping feature. So you can assign different roles for these technicians and give them privileges over different modules that Desktop Central offers. So we have seen the two steps that are needed to set up the integration between Desktop Central and ServiceNow. So these are the two steps. One, you download and install Desktop Central. Remember, if you are installing it in a private network, you will have to make use of the MIT server. And number two, configuring Desktop Central in ServiceNow console. So let's have a quick sneak peek about the architecture of how it will look when you have ServiceNow integrated with Desktop Central. So here I have a user, my service now is here, and since I have my Desktop Central installed in a local network, I am making use of a MIT server. So this will ensure communication happening between ServiceNow and Desktop Central server. Now, since I have both these products integrated, a technician from ServiceNow will be able to take advantage of all the features that Desktop Central offers. So let me explain it in a quick way. I have a user. So let's say he raises a request. So this request will fall as an incident in my service now. The technician who's assigned to the incident will initiate resolution. But now, since he has integrated it with Desktop Central, he can make use of all the endpoint management activities and initiate resolution. So the Desktop Central will help in resolving the incidents quickly. And once this is done, Desktop Central will update the service now on the status of the resolution activities. So this is how simple it becomes for a technician to resolve an incident. As you can see, these are the various features that you can take advantage of when you have Desktop Central integrated with ServiceNow. And sometimes in the upcoming slides, I might refer Desktop Central as DC. So it is nothing. DC is nothing but Desktop Central. So these are the features that can be integrated. And in the upcoming slides, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in chat. I have an expert panel right here with me who will answer all of your questions in real time. So the first feature is installing and uninstalling a software. By making use of the software deployment feature, you can automatically install software applications or uninstall them upon the user's request. So we have around 2000 plus software packages available from Desktop Central, and they are readily updated in your ServiceNow console. And the second feature is about remote control. So by making use of Desktop Central's remote control feature, you can take remote connection of your Windows and Mac desktops for various troubleshooting operations. So it offers you with a file transfer, an integrated chat operation, or various administrative tasks that you can perform just sitting at your desk by taking remote connection of your user's computer. By using the various remote troubleshooting options, like say remotely shutting down a user's computer or waking it up from sleep or remote reboot, you can make sure that you accelerate your whole troubleshooting process by using all of these operations. So by using these remote troubleshooting options, you will not only be able to improve your SLA time, but also reduce the time that you will have to spend on troubleshooting incidents. What does this asset management feature offer? By making use of Desktop Central's asset management, you can perform a lot of ITAM techniques, your IT asset management techniques. I, as an administrator, can always keep track of all the assets that are being used in my organization. And last but not the least, the patch management feature offered by Desktop Central will always help you to stay on top of all security vulnerabilities. You can 24/7, you can make sure that all the computers in your organization are secure against any threats, be it any malware or ransomware. So all of these features can be made available when you integrate your ServiceNow console with Desktop Central. Let us now discuss a few use cases to help you understand in a better way how you can make use of the functionalities of Desktop Central right from your ServiceNow console. And all of these use cases have been designed based on a problem solution approach, a problem that a technician has to face, and an optimal solution that Desktop Central right away offers to you. And in the upcoming slides, if you have any question, please feel free to post them in chat. So the first use case, a user has raised a ticket complaining about his computer performing very slow. How, as a technician, can you effectively troubleshoot and resolve? Computer slowness. Haven't you, as a technician, haven't you encountered with this incident around 10 times a day or 100 times a week? Yes, a user always complains about his computer being very slow. In such cases, when a technician has to resolve incidents that are very common, how I'll show you how Desktop Central's feature can help you effectively troubleshoot these incidents in a quicker way so that you do not have to spend your resolution time on such common tickets. So I am moving to the ServiceNow instance window. Let me show you this particular incident so that you can have a better clarity on it. So I am opening this incident where the user had complained about his computer's performance being very slow. In the incident window, you can always view details about the incident as to who is assigned to this incident, how critical his incident is. He is also given a short description about it. As a technician, what would you do when you receive an incident where a user is saying that his computer's performance is slow? So the first step that I would do is open up the user's task manager, the user computer's task manager, and monitor the processes and services that are running on his computer. I will first identify the reason as to why his computer's performance is slow. So in this case, I will not perform any manual activities. I do not have to commute to the user's location and open his task manager. I do not have to open any other new product. But instead, right from my incident window, I will take remote connection of the user's computer. So let me show you how. By making use of DC's remote control feature, you can take the remote connection. So once you integrate both these products in your incident window, at the top right corner, you will find the Desktop Central Tools option. So click on that. As you can see, I have two options right in front of me. One is remote control and two is remote shutdown. All you have to do is just enter the computer's name to which you want to connect remotely to. So let me select that computer. So I can now click on remote control. Specify a reason as to why you want to establish this connection. So this is for troubleshooting purposes. So let me enter that and click on connect. So as you can see, the Desktop Central's remote control feature will allow you to take remote connection of be it your Windows desktop or your Mac desktop. So the remote window of that user is now opened. There are a lot of features that remote control has to offer to you. Say you can transfer files from your computer to the user's computer, or we have an integrated chat option, voice call, video call, which will improve your SLA resolution time. You can also perform a lot of administrative tasks. And remember, all of this can be performed from your desk without having to commute to any other place. So in this incident where we were talking about a user who had complained about his computer performance being slow, I will have to open his task manager. So let me use the quick launch operation to open his task. Yes, I have it here. So I have opened the task manager of that user's computer. So I can now monitor all the processes and services that are consuming his space. Okay, so I have found the reason as to why his computer is slow. There are a lot of temporary files in his hard drive which is consuming a lot of the CPU's memory and space. So now that I have identified the reason as to why his computer is slow, let me find an optimal solution for it. As a technician, I will not go manually delete all the temporary files. It is always better if I have a disk cleaner software to remove all the junk files from the user's computer. So my next requirement is to install a disk cleaner software like say a CC cleaner. How am I going to perform this? I will make use of the software deployment feature that Desktop Central offers. So once you integrate ServiceNow with Desktop Central, right in your incident window, when you scroll down, you will find the Desktop Central tab here. Yes, you can find the software deployment option that you can perform. All you have to do is just enter the computer to which you want to deploy the software to, as well as the software package that you want to install. So let me select the computer. So I have selected the computer to which I'm installing the CC Cleaner software. And as I said, it is the CC Cleaner software. So click on the Find button. Okay, so you have all the software packages listed here. So you can select the package of your choice according to the one that the user has requested for. So let me select the CC Cleaner software. Now, there is this one option here that says change the incident status to closed upon successful installation of a software. So once the software is successfully installed, you can automatically, that is, the ServiceNow console will automatically change the incident status to close. So this is again an automation that happens, reducing the time that is spent by the technician. So I have selected the computer's name as well as the software packet's name, and I am clicking on this option. So let me click on install. So I've clicked on install. Now once the software installation is successful, I will use the CC Cleaner software. Okay, as you can see, the software installation has been performed. Okay, it is in the yet to apply stage. Now, once it is successfully installed, the incident will automatically change its state to closed. So using the CC Cleaner software that I installed, I cleaned up all the junk files from his computer. Now, what is one of the most common habits for a technician? He will usually reboot a user's computer after performing certain troubleshooting operations. For that, would you, as a technician, perform any manual activities? A definite no. By making use of the Desktop Central Tools option again, you can perform a lot of remote troubleshooting operations. So here, as I said, we have the remote shutdown operations. It is not only restart, you can even hibernate, put your computer on standby or lock it, or wake your devices from sleep. So all of these remote troubleshooting operations save a lot of time that you will have to spend on resolving incidents. So did you notice on how I resolved this incident right from taking remote control of my user's computer to installing a software to clean up his junk files, and lastly by taking remote of this by remotely rebooting his system, I was able to automate all of these endpoint management activities right from my incident window. There was no necessity for me to navigate to a different window or let alone use a different product. It can all be automated from the same incident window when you have your ServiceNow help desk integrated with Desktop Central. So what eventually happens? A lot of your resolution time is saved. As a technician, you can improve your delivery performance as well as meet the SLAs that are promised by your help desk software companies. So this is how automation can empower, can make each technician feel empowered, because at the end of the day, he has to resolve thousands of incidents day in and day out. So why not give him a solution that will simplify his overall job? So let us now move to the second use case. And so far, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in chat. In the second use case, a surprise inventory audit was happening at my organization. How do you financially track all software and hardware assets used from your ServiceNow help desk console? As an administrator, you will always have to deal with audits that happen at your organization. And what generally happens during an audit? How do you have to prepare yourself? Either you will have to keep a hold on all your day to day activities as an administrator, or you will have to spend a lot of time sit and prepare for these audits. But this time, when there was a surprise inventory audit at my organization, I did not have to it did not consume a lot of time at all because we were already audit ready. So do you want to know how? This is because we were able to make use of Desktop Central's Asset Manager feature to come up to financially track all the software and hardware assets used. Let me show you how. So let's move to the ServiceNow instance window. So once you integrate Desktop Central with ServiceNow, like we did earlier, in your left-hand side, we have the filter navigator. So search for Desktop Central. As you can see, I have a dashboard option here. Click on Inventory Details. So the Desktop Central Inventory Dashboard will give you all details about the assets in your organization, be it a software asset or a hardware asset. You can take control of all the inventory that has been purchased in your organization. So first, I have a detailed report on all the computers in my organization, differentiated by the OS that runs in the computers. And second, I have my software compliance summary, a software summary displaying all the software applications used in my company, a warranty summary giving me details about the warranty details of each software. I have a list of prohibited software, all the software applications that have been blacklisted in my organization, and lastly, a software metering summary. So let me tell you how I was able to keep track of all the assets in my organization and readily generate reports for this audit that happened at my organization. So firstly, I was able to have a control over all the inventory that was purchased by my organization. And secondly, by making use of the asset report, you can always keep a track of all the assets in your organization, be it a software or a hardware. And it is not only that you take control over all the assets and view the assets, the overall life cycle of an asset from managing it till disposing it, but you can also make insightful decisions about how you want to purchase assets and software for the next financial year because you can find out what are all the software applications that have been underused and what are the applications that have been overused. And when I mean a software inventory audit, it always refers to a software compliance audit as well. As an administrator, one of your important tasks is to ensure that none of the unlicensed software are used in your organization. Because I am pretty sure you would be aware of the consequences of an unlicensed software being found in your organization when there is an audit. Either your company has to shell out a large amount of money or a reputation of your company is at stake. So by making use of the software compliance summary, you can keep a track of all the licenses that have been purchased. You can make sure that the software installations do not exceed the number of licenses purchased. You will know all the commercial software and non-commercial software used, and you can always plan for the next financial year because you will know the licenses that have been underused. So you can always cut down the cost on your assets. And by making use of the software metering summary, I was able to present reports on the software usage statistics, how efficiently are certain applications used by my employees, and what are the software that have gone underused. So I can decide on the next software license upgrades and renewals as well. And certain software are usually blacklisted in your organization. So by making use of this detailed report, you can keep a track if your employees are using prohibited software or not. And let me also take you to in the inventory console in Desktop Central to give you a better view. So these are the various features that inventory has to offer. Right from you can create prohibited software, you can block executables that are not at all necessary. You can always keep a track of your software applications usage. You can use the manage licenses option to efficiently manage your software licenses. And using the configure email alerts, you can always receive alerts whenever there are changes in your assets. So these are the various assets that will always be kept on track. So any change in these assets, it will automatically fall as an alert in your ServiceNow console. So when you integrate your Desktop Central with ServiceNow by making use of the asset management feature, you not only keep a track of all the software and hardware assets, but you get insightful reports on all your assets and you can always be audit ready. And it does not just stop there. You can manage the software and asset costs that your company has to spend each and every year. So I would say this is the right investment. Integrating your ServiceNow with Desktop Central is the right investment that you can make to run your organization productively. The third use case is an interesting one. During a ransomware attack, ensure all active IT assets in your organization are secure with the latest patches deployed. Okay, this is an interesting one because we had to meet this in real time. On May 12th, 2017, the whole of the IT world was startled. That was the day when the WannaCry ransomware outbreak had struck nearly 5 lakh computers across 150 countries. But we were saved. Do you want to know how? Because fortunately, we had integrated the ServiceNow console with Desktop Central. And Desktop Central had offered 0-day support for the WannaCry ransomware. It had given us a security patch which, when deployed to the computers in your network, you can prevent the spread of the WannaCry ransomware. Let me explain in detail on how, as an administrator, I made sure that all the assets in my organization were secure from the WannaCry ransomware. So when you integrate your DC with ServiceNow, you can view the patch details. So click on patch details. As you can see, this will give me a patch dashboard. All the patches that are missing in my computers, the whole patch summary, and the system health of all the computers. If my computers are healthy, vulnerable, or highly vulnerable. So when Desktop Central had given me a security patch for WannaCry, I was able to view the patch that was missing. So this is the patch that they had released, the WannaCry ransomware security update. And from the system health graph, I also identified the computers that were missing this patch. So since I had my data right there with me, the patch that is missing and the computers that were missing this patch, I using Desktop Central's patch management feature. So I moved to the Desktop Central console's patch management module. I was able to deploy this patch automatically. Let me show you how. I clicked on the all patches and here I searched for the WannaCry patch. So let me search for the WannaCry ransomware. So by all you have to do is just select this patch and click on install patch and Desktop Central will automatically populate the machines that are missing this particular patch. So once you click on deploy, this security patch will be automatically deployed to all the computers that are missing it in your network. So by making use of the automated patch deployment feature, I can always make sure that all the computers in my network have all security patches deployed to them 24/7, be it every day, every week, or every year. As an administrator, you can feel relaxed because your network is being kept safe and secure by using Desktop Central's patch management. And we also have configurations. We have around 25 plus configurations which you can make use of for various troubleshooting operations, be it deploying a script or be it securing your USB devices or giving or configuring IP printer. As a technician, you can make use of all these configurations. So we had seen three different use cases where it is evident that by making this integration possible, by integrating Desktop Central with ServiceNow, you can perform a lot of automated desktop management activities right from your ServiceNow console. So you not only resolve incidents at light speed and meet your SLAs, you start automating it. So I think it is the right time you stop firefighting and start automating your resolution activities by making use of DC's features. So far, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us in chat. We have an expert panel right here with us. So let us now discuss questions that are frequently asked regarding this integration. Question 1. When I create a new software package in Desktop Central, should I manually add it to ServiceNow? Our whole goal is to reduce all the manual activities that you as a technician has to perform. So it is a definite no here. Whenever you add a new software package in Desktop Central, it will automatically be added to your ServiceNow console because there is a sync that regularly happens between your ServiceNow and Desktop Central. So in your ServiceNow instance, in the left-hand side, you will find the sync software details page. Here you can configure your sync settings, when you want your synchronization time to happen, when you want the synchronization time to happen. So once you configure these details, there is a scheduler that runs. So every time you update packages in Desktop Central, it will automatically be added here in the software packages page. And let's say you add a new software package in Desktop Central for immediate troubleshooting. So if you want it to be updated immediately, you can always click on the Sync Now button. And in Desktop Central, we have around 2000 plus templates as software packages. All you have to do is just select this and create a package. And once you do that, it will automatically be added in your software packages page in ServiceNow console. So let us move to the second question. Using this integration, how to manage computers which are located in remote locations. So as we had spoken earlier, Desktop Central allows you to manage computers in your local network or your remote locations or even roaming users. But when you manage computers in remote locations, we would recommend you to use our distribution server, which helps in optimizing the bandwidth consumption that is consumed while replicating data from your DC server to the computers in your remote location. Due to some business reasons, we are unable to host Desktop Central Server in our own network. Is there any alternate solution? Of course, yes. We are now available in the AWS Marketplace and Windows Azure. And remember, when you host your Desktop Central Server in cloud, there is no need for a mid server to establish connection between your ServiceNow and Desktop Central Server. Is it possible to deploy applications that require administrative privileges for installation? Sometimes, as technicians, we might not have access to install certain high privileged software applications. In that case, we do have an option. Let me show you where. Let me open an incident and give you a better understanding about it. So I'm opening this particular incident. So here, while deploying a software, you will find the advanced settings. So you can enter the user credentials. So you can enter the credentials of the user who has the privileges to install such high-end applications. Does this integration provide a detailed report on incident-based software deployment summary? Yes, we do provide you with a software deployment summary. Again, in the ServiceNow instance, in the left-hand side, search for Desktop Central. So you will find the software deployment option. So this gives you a detailed report on all the software deployment operations that have been performed. So you can keep track of all the applications that have been deployed, all the applications that the user are requesting for, and how many incidents have been resolved by making use of the software deployment feature. It is always better to have these reports ready because you can always be audit ready. Can a ServiceNow technician receive asset related alerts from Desktop Central? So we had discussed this earlier. Yes, you can receive alerts. As I said, we have an option of configuring. Let me move to the inventory tab. I have it right here. So you can configure email alerts for any of these asserts. So any event that happens in these asserts will fall as an alert in Desktop Central, and that will be immediately posted as an incident on your ServiceNow console. So these are a few questions that we had received during this webinar, and they are mostly about the integration. So we have now come to the end of the webinar. So if you had liked our training, please rate us on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is the best. So you will receive a survey at the end of this webinar. That is where you can rate us. And thank you for taking your time to join this webinar, because at Desktop Central, we believe that a happier, a better help desk leads to a better business, and that eventually leads to a happier you. If you'd like a webinar, please spread a word on our social media site. You will just have to hashtag Desktop Central and ManageEngine. Thanks again for taking a time, and you all have a good day.